Hey, David Judge here, and in today's short video, I'm going to talk with you about the 5 different types of content every website must have. Now, before I jump into it, I want to give a quick heads up to Hannah Smith, who works with the content strategy team for Distilled, which is where I gathered some of my intel. Now, when we're talking content today, we're approaching this conversation from a strategy perspective and how you can get a better understanding of how you can set up your website. Now, we're basically discussing the different types of content for the different pages on your website and how you can use and mix together video and text, audio and graphics, etc. to come together that creates an awesome converting website. So I want to start off first of all by asking a question. Now, the question is if you understand or what your thoughts are on the purpose of your website. And I mean like your final goal, the final goal. Now, is it for you to offer free advice? Is it to get people to visit? Is it to people ring up and tell you how good you are? And while all these are really, really great, especially the last one where people ring up and tell you how awesome you are, at the end of the day, if you're in business, your website is designed to bring you the folding green, you know, money. Now imagine, and come along with my little journey here for a moment, imagine you're meeting a person for the first time at, let's say, a networking event. Now, if you're going to do business with them, there are little rules that you need to go through in certain steps in order to do business. Now, these steps include building a rapport, building trust, being interested in what they have to say, educating them around your product and service, and then you can look at doing the sale. Now imagine on the flip side, if you were to meet a person for the first time and as you're putting your hand out to shake their hand, you were to say, how many different types of XYZ widget are you going to buy from me? The chances of you converting that sale are somewhere between 0 and zip. I mean, this makes total sense as you need to develop a relationship and gain a person's trust before they choose to do business with you. Now, this is exactly the same as when it comes to your website, and the 5 different types of content that you should create to emulate those steps of developing a relationship with your person all come together with the end goal of getting someone to part with their cash. Now, last point I want to mention before we get into the content sharing is as we go through, I want you to think about your own website and which pages of your website fall into which different content areas, and if those pages are set up the best way for you to get the best result. Sound good? Yes? Yes? Okay, so let's get into it at the first type of content every website must have. Content to entertain. Now, this is content that creates an emotion when people see it. It can be funny, cute, controversial, cause people to feel empathy, all with the main objective of them experiencing an emotion. Now, the purpose of this type of content is to help your site to stand out from every other site that's out there and to encourage people to share and or interact with your information. Now, straight away, an example that comes to mind could be a case study that really draws down on the pain and the success of a story, you know, and really delving into that information, and that would actually fall really well within this category. Moving on, number 2, content to educate. Now, this is where you delve into the hows, whats, wheres, whens, and whys of your business, and it's really to educate people around your industry and to also show others you are an authority in your subject. Now, think of this as like a parting of your knowledge, but not in one big chunk, breaking it into smaller manageable chunks where you educate on the different elements of your business from your perspective. Now, you can also educate around the best way to approach your types of business, and you can even share subjects that others outside of your industry would have absolutely no idea about. Okay, number 3, content to support. Now, this is content that shares empirical facts or delves deeper on your content to educate, and is where you can really expand on a specific subject and the small facets that make up the overall content. Now, the purpose of this content is to show people you understand what you're talking about, which will in turn, again, position you as an authority. Now, an example could be the subject of ants. How exciting, ants. Now, educational content could discuss the different types of breeds of ants based on where they are in the world, mentioning that black ants have very, very fond of sweets. Now, if you delve into supporting content, you could look deeper into the idea of ants and sweets and explain why this is the case with supporting facts and data. Now, as it sounds, this type of content is supporting and it acts as a support to your educational content. Okay, number 4, content to generate leads. This one's pretty important. This is content that shares the benefits in taking the next step when dealing with your business. Now, this needs to be emotion driven where people feel what it would be like to do business with you. Now, as I just mentioned, this should be benefit driven, meaning a person can place themselves in a state of WIIFM. What's in it for me? Now, an example of this could be to discuss the top 10 benefits of using your product or service. And while this may contain elements of education, it really should secure an emotional connection between your business and your potential customers. Okay, last type of content, number 5, content to make sales. This one's the most important part. Okay, well, all of your content should be designed to make sales. Even if it's educational and entertaining, it should still lead visitors down a funnel of dealing with you. On your website, you can do this by your calls to action, contact forms, telephone number, and plainly telling a person what they need to do to take the next step. This is factual. So this is like a factual way of telling a person how they can buy your stuff. Now, one last point. This content should be easily accessible at all times and make it easy for a person to know how they can take the next step if they're dealing with you. Okay, that's it. Now, these are the 5 that I want to share with you, and I want to leave you a little action step you can use to take it to the next level, yeah? Okay, so I want you to take a look at the different pages of your website. You can even, draw them out on a map, if you were to call it. Now, do you have content that covers each of these 5 different areas, and are they easily classified so you can understand for each page? For example, a blog. What are you using your blog for? Are you using it to shamelessly plug your business, or are you using it to educate and entertain your potential leads and your potential sales? Now, in fact, are there any of your pages that are there to generate leads by drawing on benefits and emotion? This is the most common one that I find when I'm asking about benefits and emotion. A lot of people talk about the different features of things, but they don't really delve very deeply into benefits and emotions. Because this is the most important part to making a sale, and it's very important, especially if you want people to understand and really feel like they're using your product. Now, if you go through and if you apply this 5-step formula to content, and you have a look at it and you understand it from the very beginning, it will help you to create the overall fit and feel of your website. So it's that important. Okay, excellent. Let's wrap up and let's talk about our next video, where we're going to go through and we're going to talk about the idea of paid versus organic traffic, like AdWords or SEO. Now, we're going to explain how you can determine which one is the best fit for your business and what to expect from each strategy. Now, if you have a question that you would like me to answer, make sure you get in contact with me, and I'd love to hear from you. As always, this is David Judge talking online marketing and showing you how to grow your business online.